Humiliation, it doesn't just sting. It lingers. It replays in your mind like a haunting echo, long after the moment has passed and the laughter has faded. But what if I told you that humiliation isn't a dead end? What if it's the start of something far more powerful? See, the Machiavellian mind doesn't run from shame. He harnesses it. Where the average person sees humiliation as defeat, the Machiavellian sees it as raw material, a setup for a ruthless reversal. A cold, calculated pivot that turns the tables and leaves the attacker exposed. But before you learn how to flip humiliation into power, you need to understand why it works so well. It's not just about being embarrassed. It's about being repositioned. Public humiliation isn't just an insult, it's a power play. When someone mocks you in front of others, they're doing three things at once: rewriting the narrative, lowering your social standing, and testing your reaction. And here's the problem: most people fail that test. They overreact. They explain. They retreat or lash out. But that's exactly what the attacker wants. Because the moment you show pain, you confirm their strike hit home. You hand them the power. So what's the Machiavellian move? You don't react to the insult. You react to the audience. Because in public shame, it's not the attacker who holds the real power, it's the crowd watching. And your true response isn't emotional. It's theatrical. Psychological. Step 1: Neutralize the stage. When someone tries to humiliate you, they expect flustered emotions. Instead, you give them silence. Not weak silence, sharp silence. You make unbroken eye contact. Maybe even a smirk. This isn't submission, it's stillness. Calculation. And that alone changes the energy in the room. People instinctively fear what they can't predict. And nothing is more unnerving than someone who just got humiliated, and doesn't flinch. Step 2: Reframe the attack. Don't defend. Don't deny. Instead, make their insult look like desperation. If someone mocks your looks, your past, your mistake, respond with one cold, deliberate line: "Interesting how badly you needed to say that." Now the spotlight's no longer on your flaw, it's on their insecurity. The audience senses it too. You're not the victim. You're the observer. Calm. Composed. Dangerous. Step 3: Own the flaw. If the insult is rooted in truth, a real failure, a real insecurity, don't hide from it. Own it, but on your terms. Say, "Yeah, that happened. And I'm still standing while you're reaching." Or, "They've used that line before. Still says more about them than me." By claiming it, you rob it of its sting. The insult becomes your armor, scarred, but shining. This is the core of Machiavellian psychology: you don't play by the emotional rules of the room. You don't seek approval. You control perception. Because the goal isn't to appear strong, it's to appear unbreakable. People may challenge strength, but they hesitate before something they can't crack. Machiavelli understood this deeply: the perception of invincibility is often more powerful than invincibility itself. If you act as if humiliation doesn't apply to you, as if you're beyond the rules that make it possible, people stop trying. And if someone does try again, you don't just survive. You redefine the moment. You turn the stage they built for your failure into your throne. Because true revenge isn't in fighting back. It's in showing them they can't touch you. But remember, this level of control doesn't come naturally. It's forged in pain, in the fire of failure, betrayal, public embarrassment. It's not given. It's earned. And only those who learn to weaponize perception rise from it sharper, stronger. Humiliation, at its core, is never just about the insult. It's about the meaning of the moment, and who gets to define it. Whether it's a meeting, a classroom, a dinner table, or the battlefield of social media, the person who shapes interpretation controls the emotional aftermath. Machiavelli never said to fight fire with fire. He taught us to redefine the flame. Let's say someone drops a snide comment in front of everyone. Didn't you screw that up last time, too? The instinct is to feel embarrassed. To explain. To deflect. But that's exactly the trap. That's the script they want you to follow. Instead, pause. Let the silence stretch just a bit too long. Then, say with chilling calm, "You've been holding on to that one for a while, haven't you?" Suddenly, the spotlight turns. It's no longer about your mistake. It's about their fixation, their pettiness, their need. The audience feels it. You didn't dodge the insult, you exposed its roots. That's the Machiavellian reversal. You don't deny reality. You recast it. You let the attack reveal the attacker. The Stoics knew it. Sun Tzu hinted at it. But Machiavelli turned it into an art form. He mastered the ultimate technique, turning insults into confessions. Someone says you're overcompensating. You don't flinch. Just tilt your head and say, "That's an interesting thing to notice." You speak from experience. Now they're the one on the defensive. You've made their insult look like projection, and forced them to carry the weight of their own words. Because people who try to humiliate others are often hiding something themselves. Fear. Insecurity. Envy. And when you reflect their insult back with calm precision, they're left staring into a mirror they didn't expect. And the key? You stay cold. Still. Surgical. Not a flicker of rage. Because rage means they control your emotions. Calm means you control the entire game. Most think winning humiliation means escaping it unharmed. But the Machiavellian doesn't settle for survival. He owns the moment. Because here's the truth, the crowd won't remember the insult. They'll remember who looked in control. So in every embarrassing moment, your face becomes the story. Your silence becomes the suspense. Your words become the twist. And when you finally speak, if you speak, it doesn't sound like defense. It sounds like strategy. Like you saw it coming. Like you planned it. That's when the laughter stops. That's when the fear sets in. Because the most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who turns humiliation into reputation, who makes it look like the insult was just part of the performance. True power isn't avoiding humiliation. It's being so composed under attack that you make your enemies look foolish for trying. Because humiliation only hurts if you let them direct the scene. The moment you claim the stage, they lose control. And you become untouchable. Now, here's another brutal trick most people miss. Humiliation is often rehearsed, especially in social groups. The jab they threw at you? It's probably not spontaneous. It was likely premeditated, said before, said behind your back, and now said in public to earn cheap validation. Which means your attacker already thinks they're clever. That they found your button. But if you show no button exists, they feel exposed. This is where you go surgical. Let's say someone jokes, "Don't worry, you'll get it right eventually." Maybe. Laughter. Smirks. A few eyes dart to you, waiting for a reaction. Here's what you do, you lean in slightly, subtly, and say with a cold smile, "That one sounded rehearsed." You've been saving it, huh? It does two devastating things. One, you expose their preparation, ruining the illusion of spontaneity. Two, you frame them as obsessed, someone who thinks about you more than they admit. You haven't denied anything. You haven't insulted them. You've simply made them look creepy. And now the crowd, previously laughing, is uncomfortable. They shift in their seats. Because suddenly the punchline isn't funny. It's awkward. And your attacker just became the joke they tried to make you into. That's the reversal. It's not about being the loudest. It's about being the one who reclaims the narrative without breaking a sweat. Now, let's go deeper. What if the humiliation isn't verbal? What if it's non-verbal exclusion, being ignored, talked over, made to feel invisible? Here's how a Machiavellian responds. Step 1, don't chase inclusion. That's exactly what they want. Your neediness validates their dominance. Step 2. Disengage strategically, not emotionally. You don't storm off. You don't pout. You disconnect your attention. Look away. Speak to someone else. Check your phone. You signal, I do not crave your validation. Step 3, reframe the room. Start generating value in a different pocket of the room. Build gravity elsewhere. Let them realize they lost your focus, and with it, the spotlight they tried to steal. Because Machiavelli knew, attention is currency. And when you stop spending it on people trying to embarrass you, you bankrupt their power over you. The final brutal lesson: sometimes, you don't need to say anything at all. You just let them dig. Because people who humiliate others are often addicted to attention. If you give them just enough rope, without interrupting, without reacting, they'll reveal themselves. They'll say too much. Push too far. Lose the crowd. All while you remain untouched. And that's when you speak. Just once. A sentence that reframes the entire spectacle they created. You seem really committed to this performance. Then, silence. You've won. Because humiliation only works on people desperate to protect their ego. But when you've detached from the need to be seen as flawless, you become immune. And that immunity? It terrifies people who survive on your weakness. They realize, you're not afraid of being seen. You're dangerous because you're not afraid of being misunderstood. That is psychological armor. Not the kind that blocks attacks, but the kind that makes attackers hesitate before trying again. Because they don't know what you'll do. And worse, they know you'll do it well. Power doesn't shout. It doesn't scramble to save face. True power, the Machiavellian kind, remains still in the storm. Because it knows, the storm can be redirected. The people who try to humiliate you in public, especially in front of others, aren't just testing your composure. They're attempting to rewrite your social identity in real time. That's the deeper layer most people never see. This isn't just embarrassment. This is identity warfare. And if you don't seize the pen back, the crowd will accept their version of you as truth. That's why the most critical part of a Machiavellian reversal isn't the witty line or the icy smirk. It's your refusal to be framed. Because once someone succeeds in framing you as weak, awkward, desperate, overconfident, or irrelevant in front of others, every future interaction gets filtered through that image. So how do you destroy that frame, without falling into emotional reaction? Here's the step-by-step. The law of disruption: when someone humiliates you, they expect to control the flow. They've rehearsed their moment, punchy timing, smirks, eye contact, audience pull. Your first weapon? Break the rhythm. Not loudly. Not defensively. But with something unexpectedly calm, something unfitting for the emotional temperature they tried to create. A long pause. A sip of your drink. A raised brow. A deliberate lean back. No verbal response. This creates social confusion. The crowd starts to shift, not because of what was said, but because of how you didn't react. They expected retaliation. Instead, they get suspense. Quiet power. Now you control the next move. The precision cut: now that you've broken the rhythm, you speak, but never to defend yourself. That's what average people do. You speak to expose their neediness. If someone mocks you, did you really think that was impressive? Don't defend. That's the trap. Instead, calmly reply, strange how much attention you give me for someone who's not impressed. Now watch what happens. They freeze. The crowd tilts. You haven't insulted them. You've refocused the lens, from your performance to their obsession with it. You've implied insecurity without naming it. That makes it more powerful, because now everyone sees it. They don't need it explained. The image is planted. The one who tried to humiliate you is more consumed by you than they'll admit. That's what makes it Machiavellian. You turn their spotlight into a confession. Don't be right. Be undeniable. Here's what most people misunderstand: the person who wins the argument doesn't always win the crowd. Why? Because being right feels good only to the ego. But being undeniably composed, unshakably calm, disarmingly clear, that creates a lasting impression. It's not about facts. It's about frame control. The real game is about who controls the meaning of what just happened. So you might say, that's one interpretation. But the fact that you need to say it says more than the words themselves. That one line refuses their reality. And turns the spotlight back on them. It sounds cold. Clear. Above the game they tried to pull you into. That's how power speaks, with surgical neutrality. The echo of dignity. Let's talk aftermath. Because in a world full of cheap moments, dignity is disruptive. Once you reverse a humiliation attempt, don't bask in the glory. Don't overshare. Don't rehash the win. Just move on cleanly, without signaling you needed to win. And that silence? It echoes. People remember not what you said, but how you handled it. He didn't flinch. She made him look stupid, without even trying. That was cold. And then you rise. That's the Machiavellian elevation. You took the hit they thought would break you, and made it your platform. Anticipate the next trap. Here's what few people realize: once you reverse humiliation, it will not be the last attempt. When you show you're calm, dominant, and unbreakable, those who rely on group dynamics and social control will feel threatened. They'll come again, smarter, subtler. The next time might not be mockery. It might be a compliment designed to sting. A question designed to frame. A silence designed to isolate. Your response should always be the same: never act from emotion. Always respond with direction. A Machiavellian never lets others define the game. If someone's trying to humiliate you, they've already lost. Because they revealed one thing: they see you as a threat. Let that be your power. Not vengeance. Not applause. Just the quiet recognition that your mere presence, your stillness, your refusal to bend, that alone is enough to make someone break character in public. And when they do, you don't react. You observe. You let the silence do your work. And then, only if necessary, you speak once. Not to strike. To seal the moment. To make it irreversible. 5. Anticipate future traps. Here's what few understand. When you reverse humiliation successfully, it will not be the last attempt. Once you establish yourself as calm, dominant, and unbreakable, those who rely on group dynamics, social control, or performance-based bullying will feel threatened, and they'll try again, smarter, softer, maybe through others. So, prepare. The next time might not be direct mockery. It might be a compliment designed to sting, a question designed to frame, a silence designed to isolate. And your response should always be the same. Never act from emotion. Always respond with direction. A Machiavellian never lets others define the game. If someone's trying to humiliate you, they've already lost because they revealed one thing: they see you as a threat. Let that be your power. Not vengeance, not applause. Just the quiet recognition that your mere existence, your stillness, your refusal to bend, that alone is enough to make someone break character in public. And when they do, you don't react. You observe. You let the silence do your work. And then only if necessary, you speak once, not to strike, but to seal the moment in memory, to make it irreversible. That's how Machiavelli would do it. Not loudly, not wildly, but with a calm precision that leaves their reputation bleeding while yours stands untouched.